What's happening, sports fans? How you doing? I am Kendrick, the sports guy. Good day to you. And the loss of a legendary heavyweight boxer, Big George Foreman, has passed away at the age of 76. We will talk about that in this segment. Make sure you smash that like button, smash that follow button, and subscribe to the channels TFG Sports Media and Kendrick Sports Hustle on YouTube if you have not already done so. Again, breaking news came down last night that the big guy with the big personality and the heavy hands, the big punch, George Foreman, passed away at his home in Houston, Texas, surrounded by family on Friday at the age of 76 years old. As of right now, no cause of death has been revealed nor details have been given, but we do know that the family would post on social media that he did pass away peacefully, again surrounded by family and friends. Now, the 1968 Olympic Gold Medalist, two-time heavyweight champion, who was born in Marshall, Texas, January 10th, 1949. If you don't know where Marshall, Texas is, that's in East Texas. It is about 45 minutes to 50 minutes east of Tyler, Texas. He was born there, but he would eventually grow up in the mean streets of Houston, get in a lot of trouble with fighting, had anger issues, and he would eventually join the Job Corps, and that's where he would pick up his boxing skills. Again, he would eventually win Olympic gold at the 1968 Olympics. Then he would later on become two-time heavyweight world champion. He would become the champion first by knocking out Joe Frazier by knockout in 1973. And then the most famous fight of his career, one of the greatest fights of all time, the Rumble in the Jungle, 1974, where he would meet the greatest, the late Muhammad Ali, in a 15-round bout that I remember reading where Muhammad Ali said he felt like that he had stared death. He was looking at death because that fight was one of the more classics, and a film was made around that fight. I think it was called When We Were Kings, I believe. I could have that title wrong. But again, he would lose to Muhammad Ali in 1974. He would retire abruptly in 1977 at 28. He would become a minister, and he would fall on some hard times as far as money-wise. So he would come back to the ring and make history. He would become the oldest heavyweight champion in boxing history. He would defeat Michael Moore in 1994 at the tender age of 45. And then after that is when all things became bigger for Mr. Foreman. He would become the spokesman for George Foreman Grill. Those that were in college at that time, or you were young adults, you remember, that was one of our what we had to survive off of. And he would become a millionaire 10 times over. With that, he would eventually sell the commercial rights to George Foreman Grill in 1999 for $138 million. So again, most people probably remember the big guy, most likely from the George Foreman Grill, and outside the ring being a minister. He would become a minister and pastor a church. But his boxing skills, his punching power was next to none. Matter of fact, the ring named George Foreman the 9th greatest puncher of all time, and then in 2002, they will also name Mr. Foreman one of the 25 best boxers of the past 80 years. Now, his professional record, he was 76 and 5, 76 wins, 5 losses, and he had 68 KOs. So again, we mourn the loss of one of boxing's legendary punchers. He would do some commentating as well with HBO. He would partner with Jim Lampley. Lampley would release a statement and said that he is in mourning and he's in tears to learn of his great friend George Foreman passing away. And again, he had the biggest personality. He had them legendary fights with Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier, Ken Norton Jr. Again, he won that championship at 45 versus Michael Moore, and then he went in the ring with Evander Holyfield and gave him all he could as well at an older age. So again, we lose one of boxing's greatest, and also he did something that I think that was unusual, but I get it. He had 12 children, 7 daughters and 5 boys. He named each one of his sons George, his name. And I was reading something where he said he wanted to do that because he wanted them always to be tied together. He said that when one of us one of us is up, we all up because we got the same name. And if one of us are down, we are down at the same time. So again, George Foreman is survived by his 12 children. And this is a big loss. I remember watching George Foreman in the 70s. I was a youngster, but I remember watching ABC's Wild World of Sports, where you could watch boxing matches and didn't have to pay for them. And then I remember watching him, and I remember watching the film of him and Muhammad Ali, those matches, and Ken Norton Jr. Yeah, so it is a loss. And then just to close this out, it's ironic that 3 of the greatest heavyweights of all time, George Foreman, Muhammad Ali, who was considered the greatest, and Joe Frazier, they all were born in January. Foreman was born January the 10th, 1949. The greatest, Muhammad Ali, was born January the 17th, 1942. And Joe Frazier, the Bronx Bomber, I believe they call him. No, I could have that wrong. He was from Philly. He was born January the 12th, 1944. So 3 of the greatest heavyweights to ever do it were all Capricorns and all born just days apart with some years in between. So again, we want to salute Big George. May you rest in power, champ. And we send our condolences to the Foreman family as well as the boxing family. I'd like to know your thoughts. Talk to me in the comments. I'm Kendrick, the sports guy. We will see you on the other side and on the next report. I am out. Peace.